Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. So people always say to walk 10,000 steps, but how many steps do you actually need if weight loss is your goal? And are there different factors that impact the results you get? Today I want to share exactly how many steps you need to lose fat, the right and wrong way to do it, and realistic expectations of the results you can get in 8 weeks. And because I know it can be hard to get started, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my exact walking schedule that helped me lose 6 pounds in the last 2 months. I'm gonna take you on my walk as we go through all of this, and at the end of the video, I will tell you exactly how many steps I got just in this time together. But here's the thing, I know it can feel overwhelming hearing so many different numbers for how many steps you need if you're trying to lose weight. But I'm gonna make it easy for you. So if that is you, do me a favor, hit the like button. That tells me to make more videos like this and helps other women find our community. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. I have new videos every Sunday, plus I do weekly giveaways for my subscribers. So shout out to last week's winner, Lenko.homemaking23. You won a tub of LSF plant protein. And this week I am giving away 1 month to my Move app. You can now log your steps in Move. So it's gonna be the perfect addition to get you going. All you have to do to be one of my weekly winners is make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and drop a comment down below. All right, let's get walking. I used to always really think of walking as a nice to have, like it was a bonus, but not necessary. I was focused on my workout, and isn't that really where you're supposed to see the most change? But here's the thing I didn't realize. Walking has so many other amazing benefits. So before we get into walking for fat loss, how much you need and how to do it, I think it's really important to understand all that you can get by adding in a few steps. One of the most underrated unlocks that walking brings is extra caloric burn, or putting you in a caloric deficit. Simply walking and adding those steps is gonna help your body burn more calories all day long, so you're able to lose fat easier or consume more. Walking also helps just boost your metabolism, and it helps really balance out your insulin levels. You're not getting big insulin spikes, especially if you add in some post-meal walk. Besides all of the endorphins and just getting outside that feels so good in your body, you also are gonna get this benefit of having easier recovery, so you get more burn without like wearing and tearing too much on the body. Walking helps reduce the risk of chronic diseases. It helps improve your cardiovascular health. Whoa, B. And even improves balance and coordination. Not to mention it reduces your stress, it improves your mood, it reduces your risk of depression and anxiety. So the list goes on and on. As you can see, getting outside, especially and getting some steps in, is really beneficial for your whole health. So these are all great reasons to start to walk. But if weight loss is your goal, is there really a difference between walking, say, 3,000 steps and 10,000 steps? And if so, what is it? I think it's safe to say if you are watching this video, there's no way you're walking 0 steps a day. We all have to get up and use the bathroom. But if you're only hitting 3,000 steps a day, that's still considered sedentary. At 3,000 steps, we're doing just normal things like going to the bathroom, getting something from the fridge, walking to our desk. It's not really enough to do anything to change your body or really give you those health benefits. Hopefully you're at least hitting those 3,000 a day, but if you want to start to feel a difference from walking and get to the point where you can actually see change, your minimum baseline should be at least 5,000 steps. Around the 5,000 step mark is where you actually will feel that energy start to happen. You'll get some more of those benefits for cardiovascular health, and you're really adding in a bit of intentional movement every single day. At 8,000 steps is when you're actually gonna start feeling and seeing changes happen in your body. This is when the scale will drop, you'll start to lose inches off your waist, but it is not just the 8,000 steps. There's a very specific way you need to be doing these steps to get the most out of that weight loss result. But really quick, what actually happens when you go all the way to 10,000 steps, and is it much better than 8? The truth is, not really. The benefits going from 8 to 10,000 steps will be incremental, meaning you will obviously have more benefits, you'll burn more calories, but it's not a significant jump. And there are some risks that come along with that, things like wear and tear, depending on your total routine for the week. So you have to really evaluate what's worth it, and are those few extra calories going from 8 to 10 actually going to be beneficial. Now, some of you might be like, Katie, you always talk about how you walk 10 or 12,000 steps a day, and it's true. And I've been really intentional with that because yes, I want that deep caloric burn, but that's something I worked my way up to. I didn't just all of a sudden do 10,000 steps. I used to walk like 20 minutes a day. I never counted my steps, so it's been a goal for me, and I make sure that I'm recovering and fueling my body to balance that out. Okay, so it's pretty safe to say if your goal is weight loss, your benchmark should be 8,000 steps every day, 7 days a week. But depending on how fast you're walking, your inclines, you really have to ask yourself, are these steps actually helping me reach my weight loss goals? Because there is a right and wrong way to walk if you're trying to lose weight. This is the first time in my life I've consistently tracked my steps, almost 8 months now, I guess, which is wild. I've tried so many different devices and I've kind of just given up on most of them because it's so much information. This is just an old kind of busted, literally just step tracker watch, but it helps because there are really 3 different types of steps that you want to be aware of to count toward your daily goal of 8,000. First up is your incidental steps. That's the going to the bathroom, walking to your car, going up the stairs to your office, walking around the house to the kitchen to get food, just like the basic steps included in your day. And then we have intentional steps. So those are the ones where you're saying, I'm going for a walk. I'm going to go out for 10 minutes or an hour or 20 minutes or whatever it is. And you are intentionally walking. But again, how you do this matters. So we'll get to that in just like 1 minute. But there's one more type of step, and that is during your workout. So yes, basically any steps you get throughout the day will count to your 8,000 step total. And those incidental steps and your workout steps, if you're doing strength training, actually help it add up pretty fast. Let's start with the wrong way to get these steps. First off, do not try to be like a weekend warrior and get all of your steps in the weekend and make up for days that you missed. That is not a healthy way. You're gonna be so burnt out and not be able to pick it up the next day just to do your normal amount of steps. Also, don't try to wake up and do some giant fasted cardio workout, go get a giant walk in and then sit around the rest of the day. There are so many benefits of mixing in your walks and breaking them up throughout the day, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you wanna just make sure that you're not trying to smash it in to one chunk of the day. And the last thing, and this really depends on your ability, but if you are capable, you don't want to just take like a slow poke strolling down the street. Yes, you're getting steps, but you're gonna miss out on a lot of benefits. Ideally, you want your pace to be like a 5 or 6 out of 10 where you can hold a conversation. You might get like a little winded, but you're able to talk and keep breathing at a pretty normal rate. A few more things that are gonna make a huge difference in you walking the right way for fat loss: adding inclines into your walks, maybe doing a 20-minute evening walk at the end of the day, really trying to get that incline in. If you have hills in your neighborhood, that can be so beneficial. We have some giant ones here. And then walking 10 to 15 minutes after you eat your biggest meals of the day, going back to those insulin levels to help balance blood sugar. It is so incredible for digestion, reducing bloating, and really just helping your body do its job to allow you to burn more fat. One of the biggest mistakes I've made throughout my weight loss journey, and even this last year as I was trying to lose more weight, adding and walking, was relying on a basic scale to really help me understand what was happening in my body. But it was frustrating because I would see it bounce up and down 3, 5, even sometimes 6 or 7 pounds every few days, and it's infuriating. And even though I know it's just a number, it started to get to me a little bit. I've tried so many different scales and smart scales and things, but I just felt like none of them are really consistent or giving me enough information, especially for the details that I want at this point in my journey. So Ryan and I actually just got the Hume Health Body Pod. It's a body analyzer, so it gives you bone density, skeletal mass. It talks about your body fat percentages, your muscle mass. Like, it really allowed me to actually understand what was changing in my body as I added this walking and increased that consistency into my routine, so I could actually see the fat loss even when the number on the scale wasn't consistent or was jumping around or kind of just staying the same. One thing I didn't realize until I was digging into it more is all these other body composition like smart scales, they only actually measure like your lower body, and then they use an equation to calculate your upper body. So it's not a true reading of your total body composition, meaning all the numbers that you need to know. But the Hume Body Pod actually does a full body composition with a 98% medical grade accuracy, which is wild. So it's basically the most accurate you could possibly be without going to a medical facility and having a full scan. You can also connect your sleep and your steps, so it gives you like a full picture and uses AI to actually give you feedback about your behaviors so you can optimize your health. Recently, especially with the Body Pod, I just feel empowered because I know what's actually happening in my body. I can see imbalances, like my left side is a little bit weaker, so I need to do more strength training on that side. I want to make sure my cardiovascular health is good. I want to keep my heart rate down, and it tells me everything I need to know to feel fully prepared. I know we're all busy, and the idea of walking 8 or 10,000 steps a day can feel very overwhelming, but I do challenge you to track your weight with something like the Hume Health Body Pod. If you guys want to check it out, I have a code LOVESWEATFitness for a special offer for you guys. It is seriously the best one I've ever used, so definitely do that. But now let's talk about exactly exactly what you can expect when you are walking this much when it comes to fat loss. All right, we're gonna take a break in the shade while I break this down for you. So in the first 2 weeks, the biggest difference that I noticed that is just true, and you look at the science and everything else, is that you're gonna have a reduction in those cravings, especially if you are sticking to those walks post meals. And again, I'll break this whole schedule down for you in a minute. But if you're sticking to the right routine and you are doing the workout the way I said, the right pace, you're getting some incline walks in there, your hunger is going to go down to a healthy, more balanced place. The other thing I really noticed is my energy was up, which I know sounds counterintuitive. You're like, you're working out more, you're walking, you're doing all of this. How do you have more energy? It genuinely helps raise your endorphins. It just helps your body function better and you feel better. And I wish I would have actually taken measurements at this time, but they say within the first 2 weeks, you can expect to see a quarter up to a half of inch of fat loss around your waist. So if you're someone who struggles with belly fat, this is where walking becomes super beneficial. I know week 2 is already sounding great, but by week 4, you're gonna notice overall decrease in puffiness of your body. That inflammation, water retention, that's all gonna start to decrease, and your sleep quality is going to be even better. Also, if you're someone who struggles with nighttime cravings, by this 4-week point, you will see a lot less of those too, especially if you are pairing this with adding a protein goal. So for me, that's 150 grams of protein a day. That has been a game changer. All right, we're 4 weeks in, things are looking and feeling good, but the weight on the scale has probably fluctuated some. Again, this is why you want like a body pod so that you can actually analyze the full picture. But if you've been noticing this, by week 6, you'll actually start to see the trend on that scale start to tick down, which if weight loss is your goal, it's where you want it to go. Just a side note on that for a minute, again, going back to kind of my experience with weighing myself, I had to get to a healthy mental place where I did find it really empowering with the right information. But once I did that, weighing myself daily when I have a specific goal in mind has been so helpful because I can get that trend. So I take my number from every morning, I do it fasted, same time every day, without clothes on, whatever. Then I take each one of those from the week, divide it by 7, and get an average for the week. And that has been super helpful to see those trends over time and what's actually happening. All right. I know you're probably like, Katie, get to the point. What happens at 8 weeks? Because it is incredible. So most people will lose between 3 and 8 pounds in 8 weeks. That's only 2 months. 3 and 8 pounds, you guys, of body fat in 2 months if all you do is add 8,000 steps of walking every single day. And if that wasn't enough to get you up and walking and setting these goals, you could lose 2.5 inches on your waist. And that's just the average. So that means it could be a lot more for some of you. Again, this is just by adding 8,000 steps a day. Now imagine if you pair this with 3 strength training days like in the Move app, or you add in a healthy meal plan in a caloric deficit, high in protein to help fuel your workouts, balance your hormones, and do all of the things your body needs to function at its best. I mean, girl, your results in 8 weeks could be absolutely insane. But I know you're probably thinking, Katie, I'm really busy. I work a 9 to 5, I have kids, like who has time to add 8,000 steps a day? So let me help you out by breaking down this very simple schedule. But we're gonna go get an air conditioning. First, you know you've been wanting to be a morning person, so set that alarm a little bit early and aim to get a 20 to 30 minute walk in first thing in the morning. This is gonna wake you up, help you feel energized, give you that morning light, and really take a good dent out of your steps for the day. Next, you'll ideally wanna get a 10 to 15 minute walk in after you eat. Again, that goes back to balancing out those blood sugar levels and digestion. But if this needs to be just like a 10-minute break at work, I used to do that all the time. Get those steps in, walk around the office, wherever you need to go. Try to get the 10 minutes in there to start chipping away those steps. We all get a lunch break, so this is a time that you can really get after some steps. Depending on how long your break is, or if you're at home, you can mix it up, but aim for at least 15 minutes during this time. I used to eat my lunch, I had like 30 minutes. I'd eat my lunch as quick as I could, and then I would go get steps around the building. It was just an easy way to make sure I was getting my walks in, but also again, that post-meal walk is really key if fat loss is a goal. Then you know you're probably bored sometime in the afternoon, so get outside, get moving, get on a treadmill, a walking pad, walk around the office, wherever you need to be for another 10 to 15 minutes. Put on a podcast, listen to some music, just take that time to keep moving. I always finish my day with an evening walk. This is something we usually do as a family. It's a great time to connect and get outside, and this time kind kind of varies. It depends on how my walks went all day long. So it's kind of the catch-all makeup time, usually around 20 to 30 minutes to hit that 8 to 10,000 step goal. But depending on what your goal is and how your day went, you can always vary these to make sure you're able to, in total, hit your goal by the time you lay your head down. And sometimes that literally means pacing in the living room while watching the show. As promised, I'm seeing how many steps I got during our chat today, and I'm at 5,000. Okay, so that was not bad at all, except for the heat was kind of aggressive, but quick little walk and I already hit 5,000 steps. I have taken 0 intentional walks today besides this time with you. So you can see just how quickly those steps can add up. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, give it a like, and make sure you're subscribed. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss my videos every week. And last but not least, drop a comment down below if you want to be entered to win this week's weekly subscriber giveaway, which is a 1-month subscription to the Move app. And don't forget, you are more than a body, but you only get one, so take care of her. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye.